Om Sai Ram, all of you are welcome to Sri Sai Satcharitra Daily English series. First of all, I would like to speak about this holy Granth, Sri Sai Satcharitra. Whosoever reads or listens to this Granth wholeheartedly with undivided attention and faith, he or she will definitely feel some positive energy and his or her difficulties will be solved. This is not my guarantee, it is the experience of millions and millions of devotees all across the world. So, before starting this chapter, I just thought of saying this, and today we are going to deal with the greatness of Udi in chapter 33. So, in this chapter, Hemad Panji has written about the scorpion sting and plague cases cured, Jamner miracle, Narayan Rao's sickness, Balabua Sutar, Appa Sahib Kulkarni, and Haribhau Karnik's story. So, in the last chapter, we described the greatness of the Guru. Now, in this, we will describe the greatness of Udi. However, both are interlinked. The greatness of Udi is due to the spiritual grandeur of Baba. So let us now bow before the great saints. Their merciful glances will destroy mountains of sins and do away with all the blemishes of our character. Their talk gives us good teachings and confers on us invaluable happiness. Their minds do not know any difference, such as this is ours, that is yours. Such differentiation never arises in their minds. Their debts will never be repaid by us in this birth as well as in many future births. So, without the least delay, I take up the subject matter Udi. It is well known that Baba took Dakshina from all, and out of the amount thus collected, he spent on charity and purchased fuel. This fuel he put in the dhuni, the sacred fire which he kept ever burning. The ash from this fire was called Udi, and it was freely distributed to the devotees at the time of their departure from Shirdi. So, what did Baba teach by this Udi? Baba taught by this Udi that all the visible phenomena in the universe are as transient as the ash. Our bodies, composed of matter and five elements, will fall down. After all their enjoyments are over and be reduced to ashes. In order to remind the devotees of the fact that their bodies will be reduced to ashes, Baba distributed Udi to them. Baba also taught by the Udi that the Brahma is the only reality and the universe is epiphermal, and that no one in this world, be he a son, father, or wife, is really ours. We come here alone and we have to go from here alone. It has been found that the Udi cured many physical and mental maladies, but Baba wanted to repeat into the devotees' ears the principles of discrimination between the unreal and the real. He taught non attachment for the unreal by his Udi and Dakshina. The former, which is Udi, taught us discrimination, and the latter, which is Dakshina, taught us non attachment. Unless we have these two possible things, so it is not possible for us to cross over the sea of the mundane existence unless we have these two. So Baba asked for Dakshina, and while the devotees took leave, he gave Udi as prasad, besmeared some of it on their foreheads, and placed his boon conferring hand on them. When Baba was in a cheerful mood, he used to sing merrily. One such song was about Udi also. The meaning of this song was, O playful Ram, come, come, and bring with you sacks of Udi. Let me just say the Hindi version also. Ramate Ram आओ जी उदिया की गोनियां लाओ जी. So Baba used to sing this in very clear and tender tones. So besides the spiritual implication of Udi, it had also its material significance. It conferred health, prosperity, freedom from anxiety, and many other worldly gains. So the Udi has helped us to gain both our ends, material as well as spiritual. Now we shall begin with the stories about the Udi. So from the beginning of this Satcharitra Granth, I have been reciting, rather narrating all the stories in detail to all the devotees. Isn't it easy? Isn't it easily understandable and accessible? So I would rather like to suggest all the Sai devotees and all the other people who are listening to this audio to read this book with true love, dedication, devotion, and with trust on Baba and his timings, obviously. This book helps a lot to deal with your mental, whatever be the miseries, to deal with your physical miseries. It will help us a lot. Now let us take up the topic of scorpion sting. Narayan Motiram Jani of Nashik was a devotee of Baba. He was serving under another devotee of Baba by name Ramchandra Vaman Modak. Once he went to Shirdi with his mother and saw Baba. Then Baba himself told her that her son should start independent business. Some days after, his prophecy turned true. Narayan Jani left service and started a boarding house, Anand Ashram, which thrived well. Once a friend of his, Narayan Rao, was stung by a scorpion, and the pain caused by it was severe and unbearable. Udi is the most efficacious medicine, rather, in such cases. It is to be applied on the point of pain, and so Narayan Rao searched for it but found none. Then he stood before Baba's picture and invoked Baba's aid, chanting Baba's name and taking out a pinch of ashes from the joss stick burning in front of Baba's picture and thinking it as Baba's Udi, applied it on the seat of pain and the sting. As soon as he moved his fingers, the pain vanished, and both the persons were moved and felt delighted. Such was the mercy of Baba. So in this book, we are also able to see so many miracles that Baba did to show his devotees the true path of salvation, the true path of devotion, the true path of spirituality. Now we are taking up the bubonic plague case. Once a devotee in Bandra came to know that his daughter, who was staying in another place, was down with bubonic plague. He had no Udi with him, so he sent word to Nana Sahib Chandorkar to send the same. Nana Sahib got this message en route Thana railway station when he was travelling with his wife to Kalyan. He had no Udi with him then. He therefore took up some dust from the road, meditated upon Sai Baba, invoked his aid and applied it to his wife's forehead. The devotee was very glad to learn that his daughter, who was suffering for 3 days, began to improve from the very moment Nana Sahib invoked Almighty Baba's aid near the Thana railway station. So Baba was omnipresent, omniscient, and omnipotent. He always proved his presence to his devotees in any form, made with the form of Udi as well. I am coming to the most interesting part of this chapter, which is the Jamner miracle. In the year 1904 and 5, Nana Sahib Chandorkar was Mamlatdar at Jamner in the Khandesh district, which is more than 100 miles from Shirdi. His daughter Mainatai was pregnant and was due to deliver. Her case was very serious and she was suffering from labor pains for the last 2-3 days. Nana Sahib tried all remedies but in vain. He then remembered Baba and invoked his aid. There in Shirdi, one Ramgir Bua, whom Baba called Bapugir Bua, was leaving for his native place in Khandesh. Baba called him and told him to stop at Jamner on his way home and give the Udi and Arti to Nana Sahib. Ramgir Bua said that he had only 2 rupees with him, and this amount was barely sufficient for the railway fare up to Jalgaon. And it was not possible for him to go from Jalgaon to Jamner, a distance about 30 miles. So Baba assured him that he need not care as everything would be provided for. Then Baba asked Shama to write a well-known arti composed by Madhav Adkar. The arti translation of this will be sung at the end of this work. when the final episode will be premiered in YouTube. So, and then he gave a copy of it with Udi and Ramgir Bua to be delivered to Nana Sahib. Then, relying on Baba's words, Ramgir Bua left Shirdi and reached Jalgaon at about 2:45 a.m. He had only two annas left with him and he was in a plight. To his great relief, he heard somebody calling out, "Who is Bapugir Bua of Shirdi?" He went to him and told him that he was Bapugir Bua. Then the person, professing to be sent by Nana Sahib, took him to an excellent tanga with a good pair of horses. They both drove in it. The tanga ran fast, and early in the morning they came to a brooklet. The man took the horses for watering them and asked Ramgir Bua to partake of some eatables. On seeing the beard, moustache, and livery of that person, Ramgir Bua suspected him to be a Muslim and was unwilling to take any refreshments from him. But he satisfied Ramgir Bua by saying that he was a Hindu, a Kshatriya of Garhwal, and that Nana Sahib had sent these refreshments and there should be no difficulty in its acceptance. Then both of them took the refreshments and started again. They reached Jamner at dawn. Ramkir Bua alighted to attain a call of nature and returned within a few minutes, but found that there was no tanga and no driver. He was dumbfounded. Then he went to the neighboring kacheri and on making inquiries learnt that the Mamlatdar was at home. He went to Nana Sahib's house and gave to Nana Sahib Baba's Udi and Arti. At this time, Manatai's case was in the most serious condition and all were in deep anxiety about her. Nana Sahib called out his wife and asked her to give the Udi mixed with water to their daughter to drink. He thought that Baba's help was most opportune. In a few minutes came the news that the delivery was safe and the crisis had passed away. When Ramgir Bua thanked Nana Sahib for the peon, tonga, and refreshments, etc., the latter was greatly surprised as he had sent none to the station and was not rather aware of any person coming from Shirdi. So, Mr. B.V. Dev of Thana, retired Mamlatdar, made inquiries about this matter with Bapurao Chandorkar, son of Nana Sahib, and Ramgir Bua of Shirdi, and after satisfying himself, wrote an elaborate article. So, let me read out this article. So what Bapugir Bua or Ramgir Bua states, I am reading out that now. One day, Baba called me to him and gave me a packet of Udi and a copy of Baba's Arti. I had to go to Khandesh at that time. Baba directed me to go to Jamner and told me to deliver the Arti and Udi to Nana Sahib Chandorkar at Jamner. I said to Baba that all I had was rupees 2 and asked him how could that take me by train from Kopargaon to Jalgaon and next from Jalgaon to Jamner. Baba said, God will give. So that was a Friday and I started at once. I reached Manmad at 7:30 p.m. and Jalgaon at 2:45 a.m. At that time, plague regulations were in force and I had much trouble. I was to discover what should I do to get to Jamner. At about 3 a.m., a peon in boots, turban, and equipped with other details of good dress came to me and took me to a tanga and drove me on. On the way to Bhaghur, I took refreshments. We reached Jamner early in the morning, and by the time I attended Call of Nature, the tanga and its driver had disappeared. Now let me take up Now let me take up the story of Narayan Rao. Bhakta Narayan Rao, father's name and surname are not given, had the good fortune to see Baba twice during the latter's lifetime. 3 years after the passing away of Baba in 1918, he wanted to come to Shirdi but could not. Within a year of Baba's Mahasamadhi, he fell sick and suffered much. All possible remedies gave him no relief, so he meditated on Baba day and night. One night he had a vision. Baba came through a cellar, comforted him, saying, Don't be anxious. You will be improving from tomorrow, and within a week you will be on your legs. Narayan Rao got perfectly well within the time indicated on the vision. Now, the point for consideration is this: was Baba living because he had the body, or was he dead because he had left it? No, Baba is ever alive, for he transcends both life and death. He who loved him wholeheartedly gets response from him at any time, at any place. He is always by our side and will take any form, appear before the devout bhakta and satisfy him. Uh, According to my opinion, I would like to say that we should rather never say that Baba had said this, or Sri Ramji, Sri Lord Sri Krishna had said this. They, I rather address it in a different way. Baba says, or Sri Krishna says, or Sri Ram says. In case of incarnations, gurus, we should never use the word was because they still exist, right? Now, let us turn to the story of Appa Sahib Kulkarni. In 1917, Appa Sahib Kulkarni was transferred to Thana and began to worship Baba's picture presented to him by Bala Sahib Bhate. In real earnest, he did the worship. He offered flowers and sandal paste and naivedya daily to Baba in the picture and longed intently to see Baba. In this connection, it may be remarked that seeing Baba's picture earnestly is equivalent to see him in person. The following story illustrates this statement. The story of Balabua Sutar. A saint of Mumbai named Balabua Sutar, who on account of his piety, devotion, and style was called Modern Tukaram, came to Shirdi for the first time in 1917. When he bowed before Baba, the latter said, I have known this man for 4 years. Now, this Balabua wondered and thought, how could that be, as this was his first trip to Shirdi? But thinking about it seriously, he recollected that he had prostrated himself 4 years ago before Baba's portrait at Mumbai and was convinced about the significance of Baba's words. He said to himself, how omniscient and significance Baba's words had. All pervading are the saints, and how kind they are to their devotees. I merely bowed down to his photo, but this fact was noticed by Baba, and in due time he made me realize that seeing his photo is equivalent to see him in person. Now we return to Appa Sahib's story. While he was in Thana, he had to go on a tour to Bhivandi and was expected to return after a week. In his absence, the following wonderful thing took place on the third day. At noon, a fakir turned up at Appa Sahib's house. His features resembled exactly those of Baba's photo. Mrs. Kulkarni and the children all asked him whether he was Sai Baba of Shirdi. He said no, but all that he was an obedient servant of his and had came there at his order to inquire about the well-being of the family. Then he asked for dakshina. The lady gave him a rupee, a 1 rupee. So he gave her a small packet of udi and asked her to keep this in the shrine. Then he left the house and went away. Now hear the wonderful Leela of our Baba. Appa Sahib could not proceed with his tour. As his horse fell sick at Bhivandi, he returned home that afternoon and learned from his wife about the fakir's visit. He got very restless as he did not have the darshan of the fakir. Moreover, he did not like that only 1 rupee was paid to him as dakshina. He said that had he been present, he would have paid not less than 10 rupees. Then he immediately started in quest of the fakir and searched for him in the masjid and other places without taking any food. His search was in vain. He then returned home and took his food. The readers may remember here Baba's dictum in chapter 32 that God's quest should not be made on an empty belly. Then, after meals, he went out for a walk with a friend, Mr. Chitre. After going some distance, they saw a man approaching them rapidly. Appa Sahib thought that he must be the fakir that came to his house at noon, as his features tallied with those of Baba in the photo. The fakir immediately put forth his hand and asked for dakshina. Appa Sahib gave him a rupee. He demanded again and again, and so Appa Sahib gave him 2 more. Still he was not satisfied. Then he borrowed rupees 3 from Mr. Chitre and gave them to him. He wanted still more. Appa Sahib asked him to accompany him to his home. Then they all returned home and Appa Sahib gave him 3 rupees, in all 9. He looked unsatisfied and demanded again. Then Appa Sahib told him that he had a currency note of rupees 10. The fakir asked for the same, took it, and returned the 9 rupees and went away. Appa Sahib had earlier said that he would pay 10 rupees, and that sum was taken from him, and 9 rupees consecrated by Baba's touch were returned to him. The figure 9 is significant. It denotes the 9 types of devotion, which we have already learned in chapter 21. It may also be noted here that Baba gave 9 coins to one Lakshmi Bai Shinde at his last moment. Appa Sahib examined the Udi packet and found that it contained some flower leaves and akshat. Then, some time after, he got a hair from Baba. When he saw him at Shirdi, he put the Udi packet and the hair in a tabiz and wore it always on his arm. Appa Sahib realized the power of the Udi. Though he was very efficient, he got rupees 40 as pay in the beginning, but after he secured Baba's photo and his Udi, he got many times more and also got much power and influence, and along with these temporal benefits, his spiritual progress was also rapid. So those who are fortunate enough to get Baba's Udi should, after bath, apply it on the forehead and take some of it mixed with water as holy tirth. Now let us turn to the final story of this chapter, a very short one of Haribhau Karnik. In 1917, Haribhau Karnik of Dahanu came to Shirdi on the Guru Purnima day in the month of Ashad and worshipped Baba with all formalities. He offered clothes and dakshina, and after taking Baba's leave, got down the steps of the masjid. Then he thought that he should offer one more rupee to Baba and was just turning to climb up again. Then Shama signaled him by gesture that as he had got Baba's leave, he should go and not return. So he started for home. On his way, when he went into the temple of Kalaram at Nashik for darshan, the saint Narsingh Maharaj, who used to sit inside the temple, came to Haribhau, caught him by his wrist, and said, "Give me my 1 rupee." Karnik was surprised. He paid the rupee most willingly and thought that Sai Baba recovered the rupee which he intended in his mind to give through Saint Narsingh Maharaj. So all the saints whom we know in this world work in unison. The saints who are Sadgurus, the self-realized saints, all are one and a part of the Parabrahma. They are the Parabrahma incarnate in the world itself. This story illustrates the fact all saints are one and illustrates how they work in unison. Bow to Sri Sai, peace be to all. Om Sai Ram. So my sincere gratitude to all the listeners of Sri Sai Satchitra Daily English series. This is my regular dialogue now, although, but I would earnestly like to thank you all and for listening, for supporting this initiative, and also to listen or read Sri Sai Satcharitra daily or every Thursday at least to get Baba's grace, to know about Baba's wisdom, to know how Baba guided his devotees, how all the saints are one, how Baba is Sri Krishna, Sri Ram, Ma Durga, Shivji himself. He is the manifested form of Parabrahma. He is the Sagun form of Brahma. So let us, with reverence, bow to this Almighty, Sri Sainath Maharaj of Shirdi, and let us proceed to our worldly actions. Om Sai Ram. All of you take care, stay blessed, and stay safe.